Still watching it. You talk about rich stuff with kids, man. Watching animals, you know.
Oh yeah, there's so much to talk about. I mean, that world is so fascinating, and you know, for many people, you get a little taste of it from documentaries, maybe a little internet clip here or there, or you know, you see animals at the zoo. You have very little exposure to what it's like to be around them in real life. You know, I didn't spend a lot. I mean, I fished when I was younger, but I didn't spend a lot of time in the wild, near wild animals. And I remember when you and I went on that first trip to Montana, the moment where I shot that buck, which was the first animal I've ever killed, and that moment where like I locked eyes on it, and we're in the wild, and you see this thing, and it was a totally unusual experience. I remember thinking like, this is almost like bizarrely almost like psychedelic, because this world is so different than any other aspect of the world. The world where you're sneaking up on an animal, you're trying to be undetected, it spots you, you look at them, you know what's up, they kind of know something's wrong, and you're like locked into this completely different vibration of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, but this is very bizarre. This is a very bizarre state. It's a state of mind. And I feel like it's also like a very bizarre state of mind that's recognizable. It's like a little door that you didn't even know you had in your room, in your house. Like, what's in this door?
Yep.
And you open the door like, oh, this is the hunter door. You didn't even know you had that door. And then all of a sudden you're in there. I equate it with people. I tell people all the time, I go, you know that feeling that you get when you go fishing? Most people know that feeling. When you catch a fish and everything just gets excited. Like, oh. That is a feeling that's like deeply embedded in the human reward system. There's something that tells you this is a great thing, because now you are going to catch a fish, and that fish is going to feed your family. You're going to exist. You're going to live. You're going to thrive. Whereas if you didn't catch a fish, you didn't get anything.
Yeah.
It's an almost illogical lighting up of your system.
Oh, it speaks to me in a big way.
Everybody, to everyone. To kids it does.
Yeah.
You know, my youngest, I took her fishing when she was like 5 years old. She caught a 6-pound bass, fucking huge bass for her. And she's like holding this thing, like the look on her face, the excitement of it all. It's like it does something to people that is like deeply ingrained in us. You know, it just ignites this thing that's a part of you that you didn't know was there.
I think as well you get in observing wildlife, being around wildlife, trying to get up on it and kill it. And at times, man, you get invited into just a different pacing.
Yeah.
We have a youth deer season, so I was hunting youth deer season with my kids this year. And we watched a deer, he was quite a ways off, but he had climbed up into view and was standing on this little ridge. And something caught it. He was going away from us, probably 600-700 yards away. And he climbed up this ridge, and something caught his attention on the other side of the ridge. And he locked up, standing there. Not like he didn't get into a position where he decided he was comfortable. He just froze his step because something caught his attention. And that deer didn't move a foot for 22 minutes.
Wow.
It didn't move its head. It didn't move its feet. It stood exactly dead still for 22 minutes.
You think it was like a mountain lion or something?
I have no idea. It was too far away. He just knew something was that caught his eye and held that position without settling in. And then at 22 minutes, it looked left. That's so bad. I'm not kidding you. When it got dark and we left, that deer was still standing there, but he looked left. He broke his gaze. And you're like, and then to be tangled up in that, it's like, wow, man, just the level of perception and concentration and focus and the way that time, it's so hard to understand how time moves. You can't understand how time moves for stuff. You know, you'll find in the wintertime, where a grouse will get snowed on. So it's already in its place, and then it snows a foot. And so you'll jump the grouse out of the snow. There's no tracks leading to where it was. It snowed on it. It stayed there, sometimes for days. and will have dozens of pellets, dozens of shit pellets underneath it, and then busts out of the snow and flies away. And it had been where it was sitting and got snowed on, covered in snow, waited there, shat I don't know how many times over how many days, and then flies out of there. Just the passage of time. The passage of time, you can't even begin to understand it.
Imagine that existence where every minute of every day you're wondering if something's going to eat you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to get into it for a minute. I'd love to get into it for a minute.
Which animal
I'd
would
love
you
to like
get into?
understand, like if you could understand for a bull or buck or whatever, like how they feel, how they feel sexual desire. Like what does it feel like? Is it mostly is it mostly a competitive feeling? Do you know what I mean? Is it mostly competition? I don't think it's like I don't know. I don't think it's passion. You know? Like,
Right.
what does it feel like?
Well, it's definitely not how, it's not love. That's probably one of the weird things about human animals as opposed to other animals, is that our sex is intertwined with compassion and love.
Yeah, for the vast majority of people, yes.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of people, yes.
Whereas with them, it's a pure desire to spread the DNA.
At all costs,
Yeah, at all costs.
or mostly all costs.
Yeah, it's got to be wild.
No,
It's
I'd
gotta-
love to know.
Bulls in the rut, and especially when you consider that it only happens once a year.
Yeah.
That's got to be insane. Where this overwhelming urge all year round, they're not horny at all.
Yeah.
They don't even engage in any kind of sexual satisfaction at all. And then September rolls around and shit gets wild.
Yeah. Got blue balls by then.
But it's just strange how nature works, how it coincides with the seasons, so that the calves will be born in the spring, and it's so weird.